Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. I am Dan Scott. We are very happy to have you with us. As always, on a, we'll call it a crisp fall morning as we are recording this very early, pre-9 a.m. on Tuesday morning of this week. And we're going to talk some softball with Stacey Johnson-Whitfield, who is entering her third season at the helm of the softball program. How you doing?
Doing well. Keeping busy. Fall ball's been fun, so wrapping it up this week.
You were all layered up coming in here this morning too, weren't you?
I was. We left the AC on over the weekend, so it was a little cold in the office. So in here it's a little warmer. I had to take some off.
Is that where you have a little talk with the assistant coaches? Who's in charge of the thermostat? And don't do that again, right?
Yeah.
So how are you? First of all, how's the family?
Family's doing very well. You know, we're also keeping it busy, but everything's going good. We love fall, so the busier the better sometimes.
Yeah, you find yourself playing defense a lot, don't you?
Oh yeah, all hands on deck.
Well, let's talk about the softball program, because I know as last year came to an end, there were some good things that you were focusing on for the future. You battled through some injuries, obviously didn't win the conference, which is always the goal. So how has the transition from the end of the spring into this fall gone?
Well, I think it all first started with, the conversations we had with the returners that were coming back at the end of the year, and the goals in which we set and did not reach, and what would it take to improve on that? Because you can't come back and do the same stuff and expect a different result. So, with the strength and conditioning staff and Coach Bernardi, she sent the team some workouts over the summer to do. And they really bought in. They really did the workouts. They came back. It was the first fall that everybody came back, and everyone came back stronger. So all their numbers were higher, which is very, very promising very early on. So I think that this summer, with the leadership of the returners and everything else, we really started off before they even got on campus. And then obviously this year we have some newcomers. So we had 6 freshmen this year. Which is giving us a little bit more depth throughout the fall and through our hopefully continuing into the spring. But it's just such a positive atmosphere this year, and the culture is really going somewhere that we're very happy and excited about. Everybody has been working really hard. We even have a mental performance coach that we hired this fall to kind of help the team, because at the end of last year we felt like that's kind of where we were faltering a little bit. So she works with the team once a week. She's fantastic. And the team has really taken into some of the things and suggestions that she's given. So I think that with all that, we have gone into our fall segment, hit the ground running and seeing a lot of room for improvement, but there's a lot going on already that's pretty exciting.
There are people of a certain generation or the way they look at things would hear mental performance coach. Well, that's crazy. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But we're seeing more and more of that in college athletics these days.
Yes, we are, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have some people in my life that have gone down that route for their job. And the person we're working with is Megan Bunning. She actually is from the upstate. She played at South Carolina with me. She was an All-American pitcher there, and then played for the Great Britain national team, and now she is a performance coach down at Florida State. So I've been talking to her, and she's really excited about what we're trying to do here, and she's invested because Furman is in her backyard for where she grew up, and she was like, I want to help any way I can, and she has been fantastic for the team.
And to get the friends and family discount, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When it comes.
No.
You got to try anyway. So, who are the veterans that are coming back from last year that you're expecting to see leadership from?
Well, we have a big senior class, so I think there's 10 of them right now in that class. Obviously, Ashley Likens in center field. She has been an all-SoCon pick for many years now. She's returning, and she'll lead our outfield like always. She's amazing. And then we have, all the all-SoCons that we had at the end of last year, including Kylie Perry, our all-SoCon freshman of the year. She returned. Sylvia Burrows. They're only sophomores, but they obviously stepped up last year in the leader role. And Sylvia was also an all-SoCon, but this year she's taking on a different role because we lost our catcher, Riley Ludlam. So Sylvia has taken over that spot and has really tried to jump into the catching role, which she has not done since the 8th grade, but she's been doing a fantastic job back there. So I feel like there are two leaders, even though they're still considered underclassmen. But, with a big senior class, we still have Emmy Buzzhard. She was injured over the summer, but she's coming back. And then Sierra Tufts, our senior pitcher on the staff, she really worked hard this summer and came back, and I'm excited to see what she'll do in the spring. But like I said, we have a ton. 10 seniors is a big class. So I'm looking for all of them to kind of step in that shoe. Not one person. We have shirts this year at practice. Instead of their numbers on the back, it just says leader. So everybody's wearing the leader shirt because we want everyone to be able to step in that role.
And with 6 freshmen coming in, they need to see a cohesive effort in all aspects, including leadership from the veterans.
Oh, yeah. And that's why over the summer, something I've done since I've kind of taken over as head is I pair a freshman with an upperclassman every summer, and they're supposed to kind of get to know them, lead them as they get here, show them the way. And I want that because I don't want it to be class to class to class to class. I want them to intermix and really get to know each other.
It's a strategy that you wonder if enough people use it. And the late Sam Weish, who was a Furman graduate, played football here at Furman. After a very strife-ridden 1987 NFL season that was, had the strike and there was a lot of just a lot of nastiness that went on, and some of it led by Boomer Esiason, who was his quarterback at the time in the whole players versus owners thing. Going into camp that offseason, Sam, heading into the 1988 season, he intentionally paired offensive players with defensive players, black players with white players, to try to put that nastiness aside and let them get to know somebody else from a different culture, from a different part of the team. And what happened is they became a more cohesive unit, and they went to the Super Bowl in 1988. So it's a strategy that has been out there for a while, but you just wonder if enough people use it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of that idea the first year I took over because that freshman class that was coming in as I was taking on the head coaching role, there was 10 deep at the time. So I thought, gosh, if we have 10 freshmen coming in, we have 10 sophomores, and then we only had like 3 seniors, 3 juniors. It just felt like it was so uneven. And I don't want it to ever feel as if we're just class to class. My experience at South Carolina was very close to with my class, but some of my closest friends now were seniors when I was a freshman or were freshmen when I was a senior. So I wanted them to experience it the same way, so they felt like they were a unified group, which it seems to have been working. They seem to enjoy it. And when they come on the field and you see them post things, it's not all freshmen or all sophomores. They do intermix, so it's really nice.
Stacey Johnson-Whitfield with us. We're talking Furman softball as fall ball is underway. So how have they looked?
They've looked really good. Obviously, fall ball's about learning.
It's almost like you were afraid to say that out
yeah,
loud.
It's like you don't want to jinx it yet. It's way too early. But, there's always things within fall ball. We use our games as scrimmages, kind of. Like we're not really counting on the score. We're sitting there and we're playing everyone. We're moving everyone around. We're trying people in positions that maybe we're not sure if they'd actually play, but we want to see what they do when they're there.
Right.
And so far, everybody has been taking that with a stride and has not. I just feel as if they've melted to any position that they know they were needed in. And we have more depth this year than I've had. I feel like in previous years. I think everywhere in the infield, we have at least one person as a backup to those positions, which is really nice. So I feel like our infield has more depth than it's ever had since I've been here. Outfield is actually the older group of athletes that we have, which is unusual. It was for 2-3 years they were always the youngsters, but now they're the older group, which I feel like that seniority in the outfield has really grown our outfield this year, and they're just getting better and better with Coach Hayes working with them. Pitchers, I have 2 freshman pitchers in this year, so it's the first 2 pitchers I was able to really bring in and mesh into the staff, and I feel like they're both they're very composed but very energetic when they're on the mound, which is something I feel like we've needed. They're very positive, they talk a lot, they're fiery. That's Taylor Miller and Angelina Riccardi. I just feel like when they're on the mound, you wouldn't be able to tell that they're freshmen. And they have this leader quality about them that seeing them grow the next couple of years, I think will be very much needed on the mound through those years.
I know depth is something that every coach strives for in every sport, and you had some injury issues last year that really taxed your depth, so you have to feel good about having not just bodies but talented players who can fill in those roles when that happens. But the old axiom is true, I think, whether you're talking baseball or softball, you can never have enough pitching.
Yeah, no,
right?
No. Not yet, at least. I'm good. We have, I think, 6 on staff right now. Emmy Buzzhart is coming back from her injury. She'll maybe get a couple innings this Friday. And then Bella Sear has been going through some things this fall, so hopefully she'll be back by the end of the fall to start working on some stuff. But we have Sierra, Emmy, Laura Lee all returning. Kylie Perry, she's obviously not looked at as a pitcher, but she can come in if needed, and we've had her in the rotation anyway, just in case. But, yeah, the additions of 2 new people, and they throw a little bit different than the other pitchers, so that will help us, too, as a staff. But, yeah, it's very nice to have a bigger staff this year and be able to utilize everybody.
So in all of this, as you are meshing the roster together and going about your fall ball stuff, recruiting never stops.
No.
You're always looking and trying to improve the roster. So where are you as far as your recruiting plan that you laid out when you were given the job? And has that plan changed any over the last couple of years?
I don't think that plan has really changed. I think it's pretty steady. Our 24 class is we just had them on campus a couple weekends ago. They are 10 deep, which is bigger than we would usually like for a class, but we're losing 10 and we need to replace them. But that class, we were still very picky in particular of what, not just athlete, but what kind of person we want to bring into our culture. Since it's going in the right direction, we want to keep it that way. So I think that we're still particular on making sure there's depth in all positions, making sure that we're replacing or trying to replace people that will be leaving with somebody as good, if not better. I think that's always the goal when you're recruiting. So I think we're really good with the 24s and 25s. We started out very strong with a couple commits that we've had. So we're very excited that class will be a little bit smaller because we'll be able to go back to normal size classes. But overall, I think it was a key of culture, so the right person, and then obviously taking our time to get the right athlete in. We've gotten some really good athletes that I don't know how they were still there, but we got them, and I'm very excited to get them. So how do you get the class sizes back in balance? If you're losing 10 and then taking 10, eventually, if they're all here, you're going to lose 10 again in 4 years. How do you get that back into balance? I just try our best. Hope for the best.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
I think it just starts. This was the last class that's going to be like that. The class that came in, that now they're juniors, that class has shrunk a little bit. So that class, it's not like we have to replace 10 again. I think there's 5 in that class right now. So that will be back to another normal class to replace. And then from there, it's like 5 to 7 kids. That's what you're looking for every year to get. And instead of when I first got here, there was 1 senior and then there was like 3 seniors. Those are small classes.
Right.
Obviously, our sophomore class right now is small with only the 2 in there, but that was because that's all we could do at the time. And it was quality over quantity in that class, which obviously those 2 just really did well last year. So hopefully we'll get it back on track.
We're going to talk about the big fundraising event coming up a little bit later in specifically, but in general terms, one of the things that you've tried to do since taking over the position is get alumni involved, increase their awareness and getting them to open their checkbooks and be invested in the program. How has that aspect of your job in the program gone?
I mean, it's still a work in progress, I would say. We keep reaching out to alumni. I think the best thing for us and them right now is to show them our actions and show them that the culture we're trying to build. We post a lot on social media, not just for alumni, but for everyone. We just want them to see which way this program's going and how exciting the program is getting and the type of women that we're bringing into our program and trying to lead back out into the world. So I think with that type of awareness and all those posts, that hopefully people will start being like, okay, we see it. It's going in that direction. So we have alumni page on Facebook that we keep trying to reach out to them. We'll send emails. I know marketing is really helping us this year with trying to get them more involved. And, I just hope they believe everything I'm saying, everything that they see, because it's true and it is happening. And it's something that hopefully they can be proud of.
Well, let's talk about this 100 inning fundraiser. I put charity on there just by force of habit, but I guess it is charity for you guys, right? You're trying to raise money for your program. I told you before, and this is going back probably 30 years or more, but I've been a part of a couple of 100-inning marathon deals to raise money for some American Legion baseball programs back in West Virginia. How are you going to pull that off?
You are not the first person to ask that question. It was funny. My husband, he was like, how long are you going to be out there? But I think we're trying to make it as fun as possible also, because that is 100 innings seems like it is a lot, right? But what we're going to try to do is have themes, do them different ways. So it would be like the first 10 innings are going to be, we usually have a Halloween game every year. So the girls will come up in Halloween costumes, that's why I think it'd be fun for people to come and watch when they can. But you might shorten up and be like, okay, every inning has 1 out already, or every inning you're starting with a 3-2 count, or, so we're going to do that. And then we'll have different themes through every 10 innings. So some could be like a pink out. We told the girls to get some ideas. So we plan on like finalizing what each 10 innings would be, right now this week. But, I think we're going to do some innings as like backward softball, so some innings you can't run, you can only walk. So I think with all those things, it will make some of the innings go a lot faster. And when you're having fun, you won't realize how many innings you're playing. So,
but are you also bringing in other people to play so your team is not playing?
No, it's just our team.
Oh, it's just going to be the team. No kidding.
Yeah, it's just our team playing. So, yeah, that's why we're shortening up some of the innings a little bit and making them, because we obviously are. So
you're cheating, basically.
Basically, maybe. I don't know. I also don't want my kids' arms to fall off.
Right.
So
no, absolutely.
We're going to try to keep it, as good. But I don't think we're necessarily going to have like live pitching every inning either. Yeah. Some of it's just going to be front toss from a coach. We're just going to have fun with it.
Right.
We can use as much help as anybody would like to give us here at Furman for our softball program. And, all the money that we raise for this goes directly to our program. It will go directly towards operations and, that type of stuff for our team. And, we're looking forward to hopefully intriguing some people to want to give, maybe come out and watch a little bit. But, this is our first one, and we're hoping it goes so well that it's something we could do every year.
So how what's the idea of how you will raise money? In other words, how can people get involved in this? Is it a pledge per inning or a pledge per 10 innings, or how are you structuring that part of it?
There is a link that we just posted onto our social media, and then we gave it to all the girls, so the girls should be posting and sending stuff out too. But we asked each of the girls to try to get 10 donors, and it is either a pledge per inning or a flat donation. So either or. And when you go onto the link, you'll put your name and your email and your phone number. You'll put whatever you pledge. You'll submit the form, and then when it's over, some people in our marketing division and whatnot will send an email or a phone call and send you a link to like make the donation. So hopefully it'll be easygoing. We're trying to get the kinks out with it being the first year, so we're going to see what works and doesn't, and then hopefully it goes well, and we'll tweak some things and we'll go even smoother next year.
I am not going to come over and broadcast 100 innings.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You might not have a voice after like the first 70. I don't know.
I barely have one. Barely have one as we speak. That aside, are there opportunities for the public to come out and watch actual fall ball stuff as well?
Well, we have our last series. So we just played South Carolina Sunday. And then we have our last fall ball series this Friday against Southern Wesleyan University. It's 4 and 6 p.m., but it will be the last time that we play fall ball for the fall. So it should be exciting. We're excited. We're an exciting team to watch. We're fast on the bases. We put some pressure on people, and obviously our pitchers have been doing fantastic this fall. So I think it will be a couple really good games to end the fall with.
I want to go back to something you said at the beginning, and then we'll wrap up. But you talked about the commitment to getting stronger in the off season and the girls coming back stronger. You were one of the top offensive teams in the conference last year. Anyway, and if that portion of your game gets physically stronger, that could potentially be pretty exciting.
It definitely could. We have a lot of power still within our staff or within our team. We have a lot of speed. That's something I like. I like a mixture of both of them. So you're not always relying on one or the other. But I think that with the strength, not only will it make us obviously more powerful, but physically last through a 55-game season. So I think all of that leads us in a better direction.
Well, it all sounds like things are rolling in the right direction. I know it's a lot of hard work for you and your staff, but I love the enthusiasm. Every time we get a chance to talk, you've always got a smile on your face, regardless of what time in the morning we get together. And you always are very positive about the direction of this program. And I think we have seen over the last couple of seasons those positive steps, maybe small steps at times. But I know you're looking for that big leap, aren't you?
We are. And we've always talked about it in here is like the patience of enjoying the small steps because it's still a step forward.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes that's hard to do, but we've really tried to take that and stay positive and keep moving in the right direction and see even when something negative happens, you're in a sport of failure, that's where you learn the most. So I think that this team and my staff and I have really tried to take that on. And this year with the mental performance training and the physical training and the depth we have is all leading us in another step forward, which, I mean, I would love to win a SoCon. I think we're right there. I think we're every year we've gone up one within the SoCon since I've been here. And then obviously winning the tournament's huge because you go to postseason. That's really what we want to do.
How's your patience?
It's getting a little bit better. At times. It depends on the day, I guess.
Right. I understand. And there's something about having small children that can either help or hurt that, too. Yes. So depending, again, on the day, right?
Yes, depending the day, yes.
Anything else we need to talk about?
No. Thank you for having me, though. I love being here. I love talking Furman softball, and hopefully we'll have some people out this Friday. We've had some great crowds through our fall ball games. And then that 100-inning game, obviously it would be great to get some people to donate.
Yeah, when is that? I don't think we said the date.
It's October 29th. It's a Sunday. So it starts at 9:30, and it will hopefully not go until 9:30 that night. So we'll see how long this goes, but hopefully not very long.
Get ready to turn on the lights.
Yeah.
But this Friday, your last fall ball series against Southern Wesleyan, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Yes.
At Pepsi Stadium.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. It's been fun catching up.
Yeah, of course.
I love talking to you. Love talking about this Furman softball program. I will remind folks, we've been getting a lot of questions, and we addressed it last week with Jason Donnelly and basketball coach Bob Ritchie about that documentary. When is that documentary going to drop? What's going on with the documentary that was shot about the basketball program last year? Well, guess what? Next week on Inside Furman Athletics, we're going to step outside of what we normally do, and we're going to bring in the architect of that documentary, Richmond Weaver, and he will be here to give us the update and just talk about the process and everything going on with that. And who knows, maybe, I don't know this, but maybe he'll have a date that the thing is going to drop. So that is next week on Inside Furman Athletics. Stacey, thank you so much, as always. We will be back with you again with that next week. And until then, for Stacey Johnson-Whitfield, I'm Dan Scott, saying, as always, God bless you, and so long, everybody.